Attention, Eagles Nation. The NFL just dropped the bombshell of the year. The full 2025 regular season schedule is officially out. And guess who's right in the eye of the storm? Our Philadelphia Eagles. The tension behind the scenes is very real. The debates are already heating up, and expectations have never been higher. The entire league is watching Philly, and I'm here to bring you every detail firsthand. If you dream of the Super Bowl as much as Howie Roseman breathes football, then buckle up. This season is shaping up to be an all-out war, and only the toughest will survive. Before we dive into this explosive breakdown, smash that like button if you live and breathe green. Go Eagles! Let's get right into it. The 2025 Eagles schedule has fans, analysts, and even players scratching their heads. Did the NFL do Philadelphia dirty? Let's examine the facts. The Birds kick off the season in dramatic fashion, hosting the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football in Week 1. That's right, a heated divisional rivalry under the primetime lights to get things going. But that's just the beginning. In Week 2, the Eagles travel to Arrowhead for a Super Bowl 59 rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs. Sure, Philly has a slight rest advantage since they play Thursday and KC plays Friday in Brazil, but let's not pretend this is a cakewalk. Week 3 brings another rematch, this time against the Los Angeles Rams, a team that gave Philly a serious challenge in last year's divisional round. The Eagles then fly to Tampa Bay for a brutal early season matchup against the Buccaneers, in September heat that's been described as like breathing through a wet blanket. Let's pause there. That's 2 high-level rematches and an away game in scorching heat within the first 4 weeks. Brutal. Week 5 brings the Denver Broncos to Lincoln Financial Field, led by Bo Nix and a rapidly improving defense under Sean Payton. Then, a short week road trip to New Jersey for Thursday Night Football against the Giants. Hostile crowd, minimal recovery, this is the grind Philly has to endure. That game kicks off a series of tough matchups including the Vikings on the road and another divisional clash against the Giants at home, all before the Week 9 bye. That midseason bye might be the only true moment of breathing room in this loaded schedule. Coming off the bye, the Eagles head to the legendary Lambeau Field for Monday Night Football against the Packers. Then it's home for a showdown with the Detroit Lions, who were the NFC's #1 seed last season. Primetime game again. The pressure is relentless. Let's talk big picture. The Eagles are playing 11 games against teams that made the playoffs last season. That's 11 out of 17. 6 of those games are on the road. Not only is Philly facing some of the NFL's top squads, but they're doing it in some of the toughest environments possible: Arrowhead, Lambeau, US Bank Stadium, FedEx Field, SoFi Stadium, and more. The Eagles also don't have a single instance of back-to-back home games. That's right, no consecutive weeks in Philadelphia. As the reigning Super Bowl champions, not getting even 2 games in a row at home? That's unheard of. Meanwhile, the Eagles are once again a primetime powerhouse. They've got 6 primetime games on the books, plus a high-profile Saturday night matchup. That makes it 4 straight years with at least 5 primetime games. And since 2000, Philly has played the second most primetime games in the NFL. Love him or hate him, people are always tuning in to watch the Eagles. But let's look at this through a different lens: net rest advantage. Surprisingly, Philadelphia actually comes out ahead in this category, with a +4 net rest day advantage for the season. That means, across the entire 2025 slate, they have 4 more days of rest than their opponents on average. This is a big deal in the analytics world, and while it doesn't guarantee wins, it does provide an edge in preparation, recovery, and performance. Breaking it down further, the Eagles face only one team coming off a full bye, the Vikings, and Philly themselves are coming off a mini bye from Thursday Night Football. Against the Broncos, Packers, Chargers, Cowboys, and Chiefs, the Eagles enjoy small but potentially meaningful rest advantages. Even subtle edges like playing Saturday while the Bills play Sunday can matter down the stretch. But the hits keep coming. The Eagles face the Commanders twice in the final 3 weeks of the season. Week 16 is a Saturday night game on the road in Washington. Week 18, they face them again at home, with a rest disadvantage. Washington will be coming off a Thursday game, while the Eagles will have just battled the Bills. That late season setup could determine the division, or even playoff seeding. It's a sneaky tough stretch to close up the regular season. And if you thought this year's schedule was uniquely brutal, you're not wrong. Based on opponent win percentages from last year, the Eagles have the 4th most difficult schedule in the NFL for 2025. They also have the biggest year-over-year jump in difficulty from 2024 to 2025. That's what happens when you win the Super Bowl, but it doesn't make it any less daunting. On the travel front, there's one silver lining. Despite the cross-country game in Los Angeles, the Eagles have the 11th shortest travel distance of all 32 teams. It's also the shortest travel schedule in the NFC East. That matters when you're trying to keep your legs fresh deep into the season. And importantly, Philly avoids any stretch of 3 straight road games, a situation that often wrecks momentum. Still, the no back-to-back home games, the brutal early matchups, the sweltering September in Tampa, and the divisional brawl stacked at both the beginning and end of the year, it's fair to ask whether the NFL gave the reigning champs the short end of the stick. Now, here's the question I want to leave you with to close out this first part of our deep dive. Do you think the NFL went too far? Did the league set up the Philadelphia Eagles to fail with this 2025 schedule? Let me know in the comments, yes or no. When you're ready, just let me know and I'll dive into the second part of this breakdown where we'll unpack the ripple effects of this brutal schedule and what it all means for the Eagles' Super Bowl hopes. Picking up where we left off, it's not just about whether the Eagles got a fair shake. It's about what this kind of schedule does to a team over the course of 18 grueling weeks. The NFL isn't just a league of talent, it's a league of endurance, recovery, and rhythm. When you strip away back-to-back home games, scatter travel across the calendar, and stack divisional games at both ends of the year, you're not just challenging a team physically, you're testing their mental fortitude, their depth, and their leadership. And that's where the Eagles have a shot to prove just how elite this organization really is. Because make no mistake, this team is built to handle adversity. Nick Sirianni isn't just a player's coach. He's a strategist, a motivator, a guy who knows how to squeeze the most out of his roster even when the odds are stacked against him. And when you look at this gauntlet of a schedule, the Eagles are going to need every ounce of that leadership. Let's take a deeper look at how this year's layout could affect rhythm. No back-to-back home games means no stretch where the team can truly settle into a groove. That kind of home field continuity has real effects, especially in the colder months when outdoor teams like the Eagles can typically lean into their physical identity and dominate at the link. But without that opportunity, it becomes a season where momentum is constantly being tested and reset. Then there's the psychological warfare of the travel structure. While Philly avoids 3 consecutive road games, which is a major plus, they're constantly bouncing between environments. West Coast in Week 14, back east the following week, then up to Buffalo, then finishing at home. It's an every other week travel rhythm that might seem balanced on paper but doesn't allow the body to adjust or the mind to decompress. That matters, especially late in the season when every play, every rep, every drive could be the difference between home field advantage and hitting the road in January. Now, let's talk about something else that doesn't show up in basic schedule graphics: rest timing. Sure, the Eagles have a net rest advantage overall, but let's zoom into when those advantages hit. Early in the year, Philly benefits from the Chiefs having to fly back from Brazil and from the Broncos being on slightly shorter prep. But by the time we hit the closing stretch, when legs are heavier and injuries start stacking, those rest disadvantages against the Lions, the Bills, and the Commanders in Week 18 start to loom large. The Week 16-17-18 run is particularly tricky. You're facing the Commanders twice in 3 weeks with a trip to freezing cold Buffalo sandwiched in between. And that final game against Washington, they'll have had extra rest, while the Eagles come off 2 physical matchups, one of them on the road, the other potentially in harsh winter conditions. That's not just tough, it's potentially season-defining. Now, on a more positive note, this schedule also